Yeah, we back at it. We got to follow the DSA. I've been looking for this video and I found it. And this lady is about to tell you how the DSA is going to try to burn down the whole establishment. And we got Van Jones. At least he ain't with it, but Van Jones on here too.
I am tired of a set of people on the very far left in the Democratic Party, my party, telling us that in order for us to be progressives, we now have to believe ideas and support ideas that are completely nuts.
You got a set of defunding, decriminalizing, open borders. We have run that play and gotten our butts kicked. We don't need to do it a second time to see if it turns out, if the movie turns out any different.
Prominent Democrat voices pushing back on the growing influence of the Democratic Socialist candidates they say are ultimately going to hurt the Democrat Party. So let's talk about it with the national co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America, Megan Romer. Megan, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Shannon.
Okay, so there's this growing conversation about whether...
This is the lady. I swear I'm gonna let her finish. I swear I'm gonna let her finish. But even if she got everything she wanted that she says in this video, she'll be the first crying and suffering and complaining. That's why these people are crazy.
You can exist within the party, whether you want to upend it for your own purposes, a totally different platform. The Daily Economy quotes you saying this at a DSA convention last year. We will win by making conditions so intolerable for the ruling class that they would rather give in to our demands than continue to live with the disturbance we cause until we are...
That don't even make sense. So you're going to make 99% people suffer because you don't like what the 1% is doing? That's...
We're able to fully seize power ourselves. Is that aimed at the Democrat Party?
It's aimed at, it's aimed from the working class to the ruling class. So
No, it's not. The working class the working class doesn't have any jobs to offer. The people that you're trying to go seize power and try to make them suffer, those are the people with the jobs. You don't have jobs to give out. You trying to burn it down don't have no jobs to give out for none of these people to feed their family. So everything you saying after this is stupidity. This is capitalism. Yes, there's going to be a certain amount of people that's going to grow big, but they're feeding everybody. Everybody can go get a job. Go get a job. It ain't going to be no jobs the way what you trying to do. It ain't going to be no job. It ain't going to be no freedom of speech. It ain't going to be nothing. It's going to be death and poverty. Phantom. That's it.
the two-party duopoly, the two corporate parties, it is aimed at both of them, and it comes from the working class.
So should Van Jones and Rahm Emanuel and James Carville and all of the establishment Democrats be worried about DSA plans from within their tent?
The establishment Democrats should be worried about the voters and about what the voters think and about what the constituency thinks. And right now they have not been delivering, and our candidates are and have been, and it's resonating with voters.
So
your candidates ain't delivered nothing because they ain't have a chance to deliver nothing. They just got voted in because they got crazy people voting for them, but they didn't deliver anything. You're saying anything.
Jimmy Harrison, who was the DNC chair, after you guys had such a big night in New York City and knocking off some of those incumbents and having success with your candidates in the congressional primaries, he said, if you hate the Democratic Party, then don't run for our nomination. Don't use our resources. Don't rely on our volunteers. Don't use our infrastructure. Focus on building the party you actually support. Other Democrats out there saying this is a separate party, the DSA. You don't belong within the party. How do you respond to his statements there?
Yeah, I mean, the two parties have, over years and decades, created a system where ballot line access is extremely difficult for third parties. I also have been told a lot of times by Democrats, don't vote third party, it's wasting your vote. So we run on the Democratic ballot line where it makes sense. We run independents sometimes where that is a viable possibility, but It's a ballot line, and what matters is what the voters think, and the voters are overwhelmingly choosing our candidates.
They certainly did in New York and in other places, Colorado and others. It's not just a big city phenomenon or just a blue coastal phenomenon. Sure. Okay, so we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay, replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then let's go back through some of those then. Abolish the Senate. There are people who are in the Senate now who are very supportive of DSA. They lose their seats?
Well, the Senate is an anachronistic institution. It comes from the British House of Lords. It is made to protect power for, the Senate was part of the system that was made to make sure that the people didn't have too much of a say. So we want to expand Congress.
Everybody in the room shouldn't have to. I don't care. Everybody in the room shouldn't talk. Period. All this, everybody gets to scream and yell and put their opinion on. That's why the world fucked up now. Sorry, my language. That's why the world messed up now. No, I don't believe everybody, the people. I don't think the people should ever say. I think people should rally together and build community and build family and believe in something and put somebody that they groom in place to speak for them. But everybody running around with their own opinion, because most people, they don't want to do the research. Most people don't know what y'all talking about. So if you don't know what's going on, why you talking? You just in a conversation, but don't know what the conversation about. She don't know what she talking about. She's dangerous. People like this woman, white liberal women, dangerous.
Significantly, but make it a unicameral legislature.
Okay, and without the presidency and Supreme Court, so abolish ICE. Would there be any enforcement of immigration laws, or with abolishing the border, we're not enforcing immigration laws; they go away?
Yeah. So again, this is part of this longer-term plan, and part of it.
But if you can get there,
Yeah, I mean, if we can get to the place where the U.S. is not destabilizing countries in order to mine them for resources, there will be significant.
If everybody, y'all keep saying other countries are better than America, but America's destabilizing. And I'm not saying America's perfect. I'm not saying that. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if America fall, then where is all these people where are these immigrants going to go that y'all want to let in? You're going to, whatever they're running from, you're trying to turn America into whatever they're running from, and that does not make sense.
Less migration.
What do you say to those, though, that would potentially destabilize the U.S.? Because there's only so much the economy can bear, and when you have a flood of people coming in, it might not work out economically, according to a lot of analyses, if you just open up the borders and there's no enforcement at all.
Well, we're not saying open the borders tomorrow. We're saying rebuild an economy and a society that works for everyone. And the open... In life, things are not going to work for everyone. You can't make everybody happy. What are they talking about, yo? Some people going to have to suffer, yo. I didn't suffer. Everybody has a story, is hurdles. That's what that life is lifing. You can't make something that works for everyone. It just does. Life is just not like that. The universe is just not like that. That's why planets ain't for everyone. If you wanted your way, then planets would be for all of us. Y'all could just leave and go to another planet. But it don't work that way. borders is part of a longer-term international plan that involves us stopping destabilizing countries. Most people who are coming to this country are coming as economic refugees, and we destabilized their country.
Yo, it's other countries that destabilize countries. China destabilized countries. Russia destabilized countries. America's not just the only bad guy on the table.
Country. We did that.
Well, a lot of, if you look at data, the Center for Immigration Studies says right now the households here in the U.S. that are headed up by people who are here illegally, nearly 61% of them are on some type of government or welfare program here in the U.S. Can we afford to do that? I mean, at some point you run out of resources.
Well, right now we make it very difficult for people to participate in society in such a way that they can avoid using services. So we want people to be able to work and live and go to school and actually participate.
How? If you're about to get rid of all of it, how is people going to work and live if criminals going to be running around because you don't have no police, you don't have no prisons, you don't have no borders, you have no corporations, you have no army to protect this land, you have no Supreme Court to uphold the laws? How? None of that, what you're saying, makes any sense. You're in fairyland.
Which means contributing to society and also getting what they need from society. It's a collective choice we can all make.
So if we talk about abolishing prisons, then does that make society better? I mean, is there anybody that should be incarcerated? I mean, rapists, child predators, murderers?
Yeah, so the long-term plan, when we think about most people who are in prison, they are mostly in prison for crimes of poverty. But
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the really...
Yeah,
like the
I
murders
hear you.
and
So
rapists of the world.
So when we get rid of this need for crimes of poverty to exist, when we get rid of that destabilizing force that creates...
You'll never get rid of poverty, yo. It's not a thing. You sound stupid. She making me mad.
So many people who are living in desperate situations and doing desperate things, that brings those numbers down to very small numbers, and then we can collectively decide what we do with those people. I suspect it won't look like the prison system as we know it today.
Okay, but you do think some people need to be locked away from society?
Some people are not able to be functional members of society. That's true. But what does that look like to keep the rest of us safe? We're talking about safety. We're not talking about punishment. We're talking about making sure that we're safe, everybody's safe.
Yes, we need punishment. Punishment and consequences will make some people think twice. And when some people think twice, that makes other people feel safe. If I don't have to think twice about doing something violent or doing something, a lot of people don't do stuff because of poverty. That's not a real thing. Because then you'll have all these tent cities pillaging these cities, the cities that the tent cities is in. I'm telling you, I could debunk everything she's saying. It doesn't make any sense.
If everybody maintains their dignity and everybody maintains their humanity.
Okay, so much more to discuss. I hope that you will come back, especially as we figure out what the party does with respect to you, meaning the Democrat Party, in your role in it, and in 2028 especially. Megan Frommer, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Psycho. Psycho, psycho, psycho. But like I say, man, be respectful, be understanding, be considerate, be patient. Spread love, not war. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification. TommyG TV. I'll be back.